Hey y'all, I'm just going to give you a real quick tutorial on how to use the QuickPump bot, some of the features, maybe some of my strategies you can get as I'm explaining these features, but let's just get right into it. Everyone's been asking, how do I add my Discord server so I can scrape? It's pretty simple. You go to scrape settings and you just plug in your user token ID. You can get that by logging into the web version, opening up developer tools. You can either do that by going to the three dots, more tools, developer tools, or just simply hit F12, whatever's easier for you. Make sure that you have the toggle device toolbar selected. Make sure you're on application. Make sure you're on local storage, Discord. Type in toke, there's your token, double click, make sure to remove the quotes from the beginning and end, and paste that bad boy right into the Discord user token. Now to add the channel ID, you just simply go back to your server, make sure you have developer enabled, which is your settings button, appearance, scroll down, advanced developer mode. Once that's enabled, you can then simply, we will choose Mega. We will go to their pump signal, right click it, copy ID, go back to QuickPump, paste the ID, add it to the list, and then hit save. Once you do that, you can start scraping. We recommend doing it, 5 minutes or so before the pump, or when they announce the next call will be the coin. As you can see, we're scraping, we're good to go. Simply hit stop to stop it. Pretty simple. I'll touch the settings real quick. So obviously your API keys to connect you to your Binance accounts, your how much you want to invest, market timeouts, mine's 500 because I got a VPS. If you don't have a VPS, 750 to 1000, just depends on your speed. Market buy retries, that's pretty self-explanatory. Profit and loss. So this is key. This is where you get your profits and you get your losses, right? So when doing a pump, depending on the pump, and past pumps, you can set your target profit. If you're just simply doing auto detect or you're doing stop loss, you might be a little bit more comfortable lowering this stop loss as you try to gain coin through those methods. This trailing stop loss, I'll just touch this real quick. There's tons of things you can Google about trailing stop loss, but pretty simple. It is what it says. It's trailing. So as the coin rises, the stop is going to be, in this example, 2% lower than the gain. If that gain happens to drop 2%, it will then market sell. So just remember, just think of it as two lines, one above each other, right? You've got your trailing line, you got your gain line going up, and your trailing line is following that 2% under there, right? Or just think of it as two airplanes. You've got one airplane that's 1,000 feet up in the air, and another one that's 5 feet under the air, and they're constantly following each other. One goes, to 2,000, and the other one's up to 1,500. So just they're following each other. If that plane would happen to fall and hit the other plane, then bam, it stops, right? Both planes stop, they explode, it's gone. In this case, everything stops, it sells, and you're good to go. The limits are just simply, if you check mark this box, it sets limits to this trailing stop loss. So whatever your limits is, like if your ceiling for that particular pump is 20%, and you want to do the trailing up to that 20%, but you're kind of afraid, you don't really know if it's going to go to 20%, then that's when you want to go to limits, because if it doesn't get to 20%, but it gets to say 16, and you've got trailing stop loss at 2%, you're going to get 14 of that, right? But you won't lose everything because you won't be waiting for it to get to 20%. The coin detection settings, this is where I set up auto detect. Obviously, coin detection threshold. In this example, I've got it set to 2% within 4 seconds. That means that part of this trigger is this coin must rise 2% within 4 seconds and have a 24-hour volume of 0.01. So all 3 of these have to trigger before auto detect triggers. That's why these first 2 numbers are really, really important, right? These market caps, the only time I really use these is if I'm targeting what we would call poop coins, right? So if the coin is a coin that, you know, it's really low, we don't really care about, and that's what you want to target, then you would just lower these numbers to target those coins. Other than that, I leave them pretty much set just like this. Coin detection sell time, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Fail safe, hopefully that's self-explanatory too. So if you set up auto detect and it fails twice, it simply just stops, right? If you don't have this fail safe enabled at all, then you could just keep losing money essentially. So fail safe is definitely something you want to turn on. Restart detection after order is triggered. If you're doing auto detect at night and it's something you constantly want to keep auto detecting, gaining, and rinse and repeat, then you want to have this enabled. If you're doing auto detect during a pump, you want to disable this. That way it doesn't keep rebuying a coin, as an example, or buying other coins because you forgot to hit stop. And obviously this last check mark is the reinvest profits. So if you're making a bunch of profits, you know, why not reinvest those so you can increase your percentage of profits as the auto detect moves through the night. Obviously these coin pairs are pretty simple, right? I mean, what coin pairs do you want to use during auto detect? I generally stick to USDT and BTC because I like to bag BNB. So that's why I don't have it selected, but it's entirely up to you. And here's the 3 options that you have to set up for the QuickPump. Obviously, automatic OCO is my favorite. It's the one I use the most, whether I'm spot trading, whether I'm in a pump that I know is just a tiny pump. That's my go-to. Some of the bigger pumps, I probably will start using trailing stop loss, but more to come on that. I think as we understand the pumps more, we'll understand what trailing percentages we'll want. But yeah, obviously manual sell is, you know, you set up the sell. I mean, you just wait, you know, until that thing gets to a certain percentage that you want, and you just hit market sell and move on. Debug mode allows you to see what the bot is actually doing in the background. Kind of a cool feature. Obviously you have graph that you can enable or disable. As I'm running auto detect, I disable the graph because it seems to slow down my VPS to a crawl and sometimes crashing the application. So as I'm going auto detect and at night, I just don't use the graph. If I'm doing a pump or if I'm doing a single stop loss or spot transaction, I may run the graph just to, you know, it's just cool to watch, right? And then obviously this is how you enable auto detect by just simply flipping this on. I will run through a quick scenario for you. I will turn this on. You'll see that it started. I'll hit debug mode and you'll actually see what it's doing, right? So it's trying to meet the parameters that I set. Once it finds a coin that meets those parameters, it buys it. Pretty simple. On the left-hand side, you have an easy way to convert your coins to whatever it is that you want to use during your purchase. Don't really use those too often, but they're there if you do need them. That's it, guys. I will have more tutorials coming up. Just trying to make this one nice and quick and, you know, an easy rundown. Have any questions? Feel free to reach out. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.